Welcome to Insight. We are in May and we know what May means for Nigeria. It's a countdown to 29th May where we will have the inauguration of Mr. President for another term of 4 years and ditto for governors who are re-elected and those who are elected for the first time. And one will say, how time flies. Lizzie?
Of course, how time flies. It actually means hope, sustainability, continuity, and of course, the fight for corruption continues. Between
now and the inauguration, we shall be looking at achievements recorded by this administration through our various segments on the program. Today, on discussion segment, we'll be taking you to the art and craft sector. How well has it done within this administration? Also, the visibility given to Nigeria's image recently by the Director General of that sector in China. On interview segment, we'll be looking at inter-religious harmony tied to the 14th annual Ramadan lecture put together by the NTA, FRCN, and the Voice of Nigeria. It was on Islam and tolerance. A follow-up. And on media review?
Yes, on media review, we shall be examining the role of the media in rebuilding the image of Nigeria. And of course, what is the effect of media hype? My guest will also be taking a critical look at the political, social, and diplomatic implications of rebuilding our image.
Up next on Insight is the discussion segment. Stay with us. On this segment on Insight, we shall be looking at arts and culture in Nigeria. And my guest is the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otunba Olusegun Runsewe. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
Thank you very much.
Before we go into specifics, you are just coming back from China.
Yeah.
What informed this trip?
Let me first and foremost thank the Chinese government and the people of the Republic of China. This particular conference is first of its kind in the world. And I led a delegation of Africa to this conference. It was 100% paid for by the Chinese government. Transportation, accommodation, everything. So I'd like to use this forum to thank them most sincerely for believing in Nigeria and for believing that our partnership is working. So I thank them. First and foremost, it was a conference that make a whole difference. It's now people to people, culture and tourism forum. I mean, when you talk about this sector, it's the people. So they brought out the people to people, culture and tourism forum. I must tell you that it was an opportunity for over 70 countries of the world to meet, interact, exchange ideas, and see what next for this industry.
So what we want to ask now, how does this conference relate with the policy thrust of this administration as we prepare for a presidential inaugural for another term of office?
Well, you know that Mr. President has a direct focus for this sector, which nobody can fault. How do we create jobs for Nigerians? How do we reduce crime? About 2-3 months ago, the Honorable Minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, headed a committee too that was somewhere in Europe talking about the achievement of this government vis-a-vis the sector. So it's a forgiving issue that this government is totally interested on how to create jobs, reduce unemployment. That's why we focused on waste to wealth and skill acquisition. Okay. But however, I must mention that all over the world today, they know the role this sector is playing. However, for a very long time, we've paid lip service to this sector. But I can assure you, the story has changed. Now, we are confronting the issue head on. No more workshops, seminar, going to speak all the grammar. No! How do we impact on the life of the ordinary Nigerian on the street?
Before we go to that,
yeah,
your visibility while in China, you deviated a bit. I call it a deviation because that was not the primary reason. You were bothered about the image of Nigeria. What informed this?
Well, I must tell you, it's unfortunate. I repeat, unfortunate that we have allowed our country to be turned into a den of criminals, drug pushers, kidnappers, etc. We are not saying we are perfect, but most of these crimes being committed, I'm telling you today, are not Nigerians. I'm not saying Nigerians are not there at all, but those numbers are not Nigerians. Okay. Nobody is asking questions. I'm very strong, and I'm saying it, that our passport is being faked somewhere. Our passport is being used by non-Nigerians. I had an encounter in Dubai. I met a gentleman who was talking, he's a Nigerian, is this, is that. Only for me to confront him. And he was telling me he's a Nigerian by marriage. He's married to a Nigerian lady. How are we even sure that lady is a Nigerian?
Okay.
Now, what happened in China was very simple. A journalist in China interviewed me.
Is he a Nigerian?
No. And he said, why is it that the number of Nigerians involved in some things are not? I asked him, I throw the question back to the journalist. Can you differentiate between a Nigeria and 7 other West African countries? He was confused. In fact, let me tell you today for the first time, most part of the world, they thought the whole of Africa is Nigeria. Okay. And we must correct that thing. But nobody is talking. Now, people are arrested, they say they are Nigerians. We need to go deep into it. We need to do forensic check on their passports and be sure they're really Nigerians. So it baffles my heart that we were not doing anything about it before now. And I corrected the impression in China. And I received a resounding applause for changing from what they used to believe about our country.
How could these trends be checked?
It's very simple. It's a native intelligent approach. If you need a sincere approach to it, to stop it. Any Nigerian that is caught outside this country, destroying our name, our integrity, our image, should be taken to his local government and be celebrated there as a bunch of disgrace. Once 2, 3 families are exposed, I'm telling you, but these are people that come back to Nigeria, they are being given chieftaincy titles. And you arrest somebody abroad, you bring him home, at the airport, he sort out some few people, he's being released. 3 days after, he's back to the same location. How can anybody take us serious? We must sit down and tell ourselves the truth. Okay. There is a problem. For instance, why is there some local crimes? If every armed robber, every kidnapper, every criminal arrested in Nigeria, no senior person, no person of reputation go to take his or her bail, crime will reduce. Because when they are arrested, they have godfathers who go to take their bail.
Okay.
That must stop.
Let's proceed. Sometime on this program, you came with a couple of items and you told me here that there was a collaboration between Bank of Industry and the National Council for Arts and Culture towards creating jobs. Where are we with this project?
I can tell you that if you want, or anybody is interested to see it, we have trained over, as I'm still now here, over 200,000 Nigerians in 1 year in different aspects of, you see, we have to understand something. Skill acquisition is a capacity building of an individual. And I've said it, and I'm going to repeat it. This is the only sector that nobody is a failure. Nobody is a loser in this sector. Even if you make F9 plus in school, we can see you can be useful in this sector. You don't need a PhD to knit a good bag. You don't need an MSc to do a good artwork. You don't need a diploma. What you need is the creativity in you, which we have refused to use, which the Chinese is using. In fact, the Chinese have gone to the next level. Blind people, physically inspired people, are now being taken to a village called Guanyi, where they train them. You know, the most beautiful thing is Somebody who cannot see, does not know if a pretty lady is passing. He concentrates on what he or she is doing. So they have their own advantage, which we must take. That's another level I'm looking at very soon, which we must take advantage of it. So for us, we have the record, all of them signed. Because of your question, I know Nigerian journalists, their telephone numbers, their pictures, everything documented in my office. If anybody is in doubt, he comes there and we see it. What remains is one thing. How do we get the states to key into this vision? Now, about last month, I took the entire management on a farm trip. Farm trip in this industry is the key to success. Instead of workshops, seminar, all this, no, take people on farm trip. Look, let nobody deceive us. A man that is older than you can never get older than him, either by riches or by affluence. Forget it. If somebody is better than you, he's better than you. Learn from that person. Take advantage of that and improve, which is what I did. I took my team to Dubai. Don't forget, in 1999, Dubai has only 4-story buildings. When Nigerian Airways was flying to London, 2 flights a day, they were still riding camel in Dubai. The oil we discovered, also Dubai discovered oil. Dubai has 7 states, but only 3 is doing the job. Sharjah, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi. Those are the 3. The rest, take some pressure from them off. We need to sit down and agree. We must remove sentiment. We must remove a lot of things we put into it, tribal, religion, etc. And what can benefit this country economically for the future of the Nigerians unborn. If not, posterity will not forgive us.
When he was re-elected for a second term and a group went to visit him, the president said he will be more inclusive as after his inauguration for a second term. Would you say that the culture and art sector is part of this inclusiveness?
Absolutely. In fact, I want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. President. When I was made the president of the World Craft Council, African region, Mr. President recognized and wrote me a letter. And also, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, they wrote me letters. That's to tell you, this is the first time in the history of this sector that a Nigerian is heading over 4 international bodies. And that's Otunba, Runsewe. That's the recognition. What else do we need? To key into it, tap into it, and make Nigeria a better place.
What do you make of arts and culture tied to mass transit in the world? Aviation, transportation, name it.
I am not an aviation expert, but you cannot be in this industry and fail to understand the importance of transportation. The biggest problem we're having, we like deceiving ourselves. There's nowhere in the world you buy aircraft. We lease. 2 banks can face the leasing, 2 other banks face the insurance. Look at Ethiopian Airline, has over 100 aircraft now because they changed their focus to do what is right. Bring some expert. If you read, you Google my name, you will see there, even when Air Nigeria was to start again, I warned, no complimentary ticket, no free ticket. We must build Nigerians for the coming Nigerians. Look, our national anthem said, so that the labor of our heroes will not be in vain. We're almost making it in vain. So transportation is key. But let us remove this arcade approach. We want to buy aircraft. Aircraft for who? All over the world today is about leasing and partnership. There's even nothing wrong. 4 countries in Africa now are in partnership with Air France, the other one with Ethiopian Airline, and the 3rd one with Equatorial Guinea Airline.
Yeah. Beside the business model, what do you make of branding tied to the culture, arts and culture of Nigeria?
You see, branding has something to do with brand identity.
Yep.
You must first and foremost build an identity to catch up with your brand. In most cases, we rush to market with the brand without an identity. So some other people take over our brand and turn it to their product. So these are the things I am correcting now. I've opened up a forum where so many industry players have a common front to showcase what they have, which is a strategy everybody in the world is using. So for Nigeria, we have so many brands, but we are giving it out. I'll give you one today that will impress you.
Okay.
Gary, the best Gary so far we found out is the Jebu Gary. Somebody packaged it and was selling it. Some African countries, even West Africa, come to Lagos, get the same Gary and rebrand and sell as their product. That's where the branding comes in. So Nigeria has lost that identity to another country. But if we do the branding and also do reaching out to the marketing, that will be a thing of the past.
But if you don't interface with these sectors, they may not know, given the fact that you head the arts and culture segment of the economy.
Interface?
Yeah.
I interface with them so regularly.
Okay.
That's why I'm telling you, I got to know all this. There's a change. It's no longer business as usual.
Okay.
We are now getting there. How do you brand? Look, the biggest advantage the Chinese has today is their branding identity. And they are proudly branding their own item. Whereas before I got to office, most of our people are not even ashamed to show what they have. I give out what we have as a brand, and the brand is what keeps us to show that Nigerians, look, this is the key to my car. This is a key order. This costs 60 naira. The same quality you will get abroad, and I even put the green, white, green.
Sure.
So what are we talking? But some people are ashamed. They feel, oh, how do you use this cheap item? You must develop your economy for it to be strong. You see, I get worried when you see all these economic data researchers on television quoting 3.5 GDP rising by this. Look, we are wasting time. The truth about it is the ordinary Nigerian must be able to generate that dollar into the Nigerian market. Then our money will become stronger and better.
So we don't lose focus.
Yeah.
NAFEST is fast approaching. What are the plans?
NAFEST is a new NAFEST.
What, new NAFEST?
New NAFEST.
Do we intend to see surprises?
Absolutely, we started. I'll use the opportunity also to thank two governors so far, and the third one, the governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, who gave us tremendous support in 2017.
Which state is hosting this time?
Then we went to Rivers. In Rivers, the governor in Rivers State turned NAFEST to an international base of showcasing the best of Nigeria.
Okay.
You must give it to him. In fact, I have seen for the first time a governor going to inspect venues. Himself got involved. I must commend him for that wonderful outing. From Rivers, we've set a benchmark. Now we're going to Edo State. I've been opportune.
Is it Edo State that is hosting?
Yes, this year.
Okay.
I've been opportune to meet the governor, Godwin Obaseki. It was wonderful. He too is ready. Now, you need to know today that NAFEST started in 1970, after the Civil War. After the Civil War, we now said, what can bring Nigerians together? We've had war. I mean, General Gowon said it, no victor, no vanquished.
Sure.
Beautiful. But what do we show that Nigerians is together? And our elders then went for NAFEST. So NAFEST started 1970 after the Civil War. We call it the festival that unites the nation. Since we started, the unity of this country is getting stronger and better. And I can assure you, with the Oba of Benin opening up the palace to us last 2 weeks in Benin, giving us royal blessing, I doff my heart for Oba of Benin.
I can imagine somebody becoming very thirsty now of attending. So what is that special thing we're going to see, that surprise we're going to see, like you said, it's going to be a special NAFEST?
For the first time in the history of NAFEST,
Okay.
we're going to have the royal splendor.
Okay.
The entire country that we're coming we're going to the palace to meet the Oba and tell him peace has fully returned to our great country. Look, we must correct one impression. There's no country in the world that has 100% peace. There's no country that don't have its own Boko Haram, maybe with a different name. I challenge the guy in Germany who was talking of Boko Haram. They have their own Boko Haram. What about the Unjus? In Germany, they are there. So every country has its own. There is no country in the world that can become a champion without challenges. Nigerian, these are our challenges. And by the grace of God, we overcome them very soon. And it will be a greater nation and better for all of us.
Otunba Olusegun Runsewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for being on Insight.
Thank you very much, and I thank Insight for always giving us the
Before we
opportunity.
go, let me just ask this. What are your expectations as we prepare towards the next administration at the national level and also at the state levels?
Yeah, I know that Mr. President is very passionate about this sector. So there are going to be some new products with this government coming in. And I can assure you, the 9th National Assembly will be a strong promoter and believer in culture and tourism.
Okay, what about back in the public governance,
Yeah.
say anti-corruption, the economy, like where they are? What are your expectations? Where do we move to with it?
You see, if we have what I call cultural diplomacy, even the corruption will reduce. The problem is disconnection. And that is where the royal fathers come in. It's very important for us to recognize and believe in the royal fathers' role in the unity and peace of our great country. Once we interact with them, they are the opinion modelers. They are the people close, they are the ones closest to the people. We need to recognize their role. Once we do that, I'm telling you, in the next 3-4 years, even those that left Nigeria abroad, they're on their way back home.
Do you think this policy by the government through the National Financial Intelligence Agency for the autonomy of finance to be restored to local government, it could propel what you're talking about?
You see,
because over time, the councils were weakened because the governors were tampering with their funds. But now it says no, give them that autonomy.
yeah, I can tell you today that the governors are not their problem. The local government chairmen are their own problems. There's a law backing them. There's an instrument of office telling them what to do. If you choose to be a chairman of a council for 5 years and nothing to show for it, then you carry your cross. I am carrying the cross of my local government of culture. And I can assure you, I'm going to do everything humanly possible to make sure I deliver. So many areas, and thank you for that question. Our site by Sheraton has been there for years. Armed robbers, rogues, criminals, that's where they use. But today, by the grace of God, the support of Mr. President and my minister, we've been able to clear the place. It's a new dawn now for Nigeria. Every country of the world has its own selling point. Ours,
Are we expecting a structure there very soon?
not only a structure, we're innovating now.
Okay.
Today is a new story, and I
Okay.
can assure you, Nigerians will celebrate this administration and my leadership. By the time we finish, it will be a new dawn for Nigeria.
Otunba Olusegun Runsewe, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you very much.
Up next on Insight is the interview segment. Stay with us.